My presentation is on Article 12, Unsung Psychology Pioneers. The main idea of this article was to express the frustration of people missing in history. There's a lot of missing people in the history books of psychology that we learn because there's a bias of who is known and who is not known. And since there isn't a very wide variety and diversity of people discussed, there's a very narrow version of our history that we know. The people who are discriminated are women, people of color, even more so women of color, queer, and other abled people. We found that discrimination is found in institutions, academy, textbooks, and curriculum. The study of this article was focused on women and people of color. They gave a survey of a list of pioneers, of historians, or people in history, and tried to see how well people were familiar with them. There was also a comparison of who was in history books. There were about 67 books that they compared, and they mentioned that they had to keep in mind that there's a bias of what information is included in the books because the authors have to pay attention to what is going to be able to be sold. In these books, there was name and word searches done. And then the results of the study was that for the influencers, only 10% were feminine, 2% were African American, and less than 1% were female African American. The overall findings of the word searches proved that men still had a higher percentage overall, but it was a lot closer in parameter, within 15%. And the author recognizes that Freud is mentioned the most in all these books, but that doesn't mean that he should be taken out of our history books. The purpose of the article was to raise awareness that there is a rise in women and people of color in the field of psychology today, and there's still a misrepresentation of their history. The author of the article says that this is dangerous for the success of these individuals and could be modern-day discrimination. The important points of the article that the author points out is that authors of the books or texts tried highlighting women's achievements since women in the field was out of the norm. They wanted to make it a bigger deal when they did recognize women, since it was so abnormal. The author also says that the publishing industry is just as much to blame for the misrepresentation. And the author of the article speculates why women and men are represented differently. The author recognized that sometimes originators of ideas were not credited, and they also discussed how the authors of the books and the texts may be biased, personally biased when writing the text, and they include who they want to study. And this is my works cited. Thank you.